What is the most important thing to remember when taking your B2 First Speaking exam? Yeah, you must remember to look fabulous. It's a big day.
No, Monica, that was a stupid thing to say. You must remember to talk.
Okay, yes, but also try to avoid the present simple. Before we begin, why should you avoid the present simple? Well, the clue is in the name. Present simple. Here is a secret that nobody has told you before. It is better to try to use complex grammar and make mistakes than it is to use simple grammar and speak perfectly. Doesn't that change your lives? It changed mine.
Phew, that is great. Great advice. Cheers, mate.
So how can we do this? Well, it's very difficult to prepare complex grammar for parts 3 and 4 of the speaking exam, because these are supposed to be natural and normal conversations. So if you prepare something, it immediately becomes unnatural and not normal. The examiners will know if you have memorized structures to use in parts 3 and 4, so try not to. If you need any help with part 3, I have a video telling you all about it and everything you must do, so watch that instead. For parts 1 and 2 though, you absolutely should be avoiding the present simple and trying to use complex grammar. Let's start with part 1 then.
Part 1.
Part 1 consists of the examiner asking you simple questions about familiar topics. If you only have one partner in the exam, it's only 2 minutes long. So the examiner will only have time to ask you 1 or 2 questions. Maybe 3 if you give very short answers, but try not to do that. Let's look at some examples of possible questions you could be asked in part 1.
Here are some examples divided into topics: your friends, your hometown, your hobbies, and your future. What do you like doing with your friends? Do you have a best friend? Do you like your city? Is there a lot to do in your city? What is your favorite thing to do in the evenings? Do you enjoy sport? Do you have any goals for this year?
Let's look at some of these questions and think about some possible answers that we could give.
What do you like doing with your friends?
This question is in the present simple. So, Monica, what do you like doing with your friends? I like listening to music and dancing and acting and seeing my friends and going shopping. See? Because the question was in the present simple, the student answered in the present simple. No, don't do that. Oh my god, I made a big mistake. Here are the grammar structures that I want you to use instead.
The present perfect. Used to and would. If only and I wish. It depends plus a 0 conditional, and inversion.
Let's see how we can use each of these structures to answer the same question.
I have always loved going shopping with my friends because I used to love going shopping with my friends, but now I prefer. If only I had more time to spend with my friends, but when I do have time, I enjoy going shopping. It depends. If the weather is nice, we go shopping. But if not, we spend time inside listening to music. Rarely do I see my friends these days, but when I do, I enjoy going shopping with them.
What's great about these structures is that they can stay basically the same to answer any question in the present simple. Remember, your answers don't need to be true. The examiner does not care about your personal life. They care about your language. Even my private life. Excuse me, I have like 1 million followers on Instagram. Yeah, the examiner is probably one of them. Let's have a look at another question now. Bruce, I want you to answer using one of these structures.
Yeah.
Bruce, do you like your city?
Oh, if only I lived somewhere else. I hate my city. There's like nothing to do. And that's why I make videos with this idiot. Yeah.
Yep, thank you so much, Bruce. Now let's look at the remaining structures.
I have always loved my city. All of my friends live there and there is so much to do. I used to love my city when I was young, but a lot of my friends have moved and now it's boring. It depends. If it's summer, it's fun because the weather is nice and we can go out. In the winter, it's very quiet.
It depends is probably the easiest one to use. When you don't know what to say, or when you cannot think of a long extended answer, say it depends and it will broaden your language. Add the zero conditional to it. When you do that, the examiner's happy, I'm happy, you're happy, we're happy, everyone's happy, your marks will go up. And you can say, I learnt that from Smash English. And Smash English is great and I'm going to subscribe. If you need any help with the zero conditional, then watch my video all about the zero conditional. You think it's easy, trust me, it's not.
Never have I loved my town, but it's okay. I think I'll move when I am older, though.
Remember, it's better to make a mistake using this grammar than to use the present simple perfectly. So embrace your mistakes, love your mistakes. In the B2 First Speaking exam, anyway. Monica, do you have any goals for this year? Actually, I've never had any goals. I believe that if you're hot like me, goals are not necessary because good things just happen to you.
I didn't used to give myself goals, but this year I've given myself the goal to help Toby with Smash English.
If only I had set myself a goal. I think goals are really important because that way you know where you are going in life, and that's really important. Yeah.
Well, it depends what you mean by a goal. If you mean like an ambition, then this year my ambition is to help Toby with Smash English. But if you mean like a New Year's resolution, then no, mate, I don't do that.
Never do I set myself goals. I think you only live once, and so you should just live in the moment. Do you know what I mean? So remember, present perfect, used to, I wish, if only, it depends, plus the zero conditional, inversion. Practice these all the time. Ask yourself a present simple question, the simplest questions you can think of, and try answering using one of these structures. Toby, what is your favorite color? Oh, I don't know. It used to be green, but now that I'm older, I like red. Toby, do you have a dog? If only I had a dog. I would love to have a dog. Having a dog would change my life. Toby, do you like music? I have always loved music. The more you do it, the easier it will get. Throw the truth out the window and bring the grammar in the window. It doesn't work. Doesn't work. Okay, so what about part 2?
Part 2.
Well, for describing the pictures, we should always be using modal verbs. Modal verbs in the present simple, but modal verbs to speculate. Could, would, might, may, must, couldn't. If you want more information on that, then watch my video on part 2 of the Cambridge Speaking Exam. But after your partner has finished describing their pictures, the examiner will ask you a question about their pictures. There are 2 types of question that the examiner could ask you. One is if you like something or not, so present simple again. The other one is asking you to choose between the pictures. What activity would you prefer? Where would you prefer to go? If you are asked if you like something, then use the same structures that I told you to use in part 1. Used to, present perfect, inversion, if only, it depends. However, if you have used one of them in part 1, try not to use it again in part 2. Repetition is not going to score you high marks. But if you are asked to choose between the 2 pictures, use a second conditional. This always works, so always do it. If I had to choose, I would say because Finished. It's that simple. Monica, which of these places would you prefer to spend your holiday in? If I had to choose, I would say the beach, because I love wearing my bikini, because everybody looks at me and I know what they're thinking. They're thinking, wow, she is so hot. And Bruce?
If I had to choose, I would say camping. I prefer relaxing in nature with a beer in my hand like a real man, you know what I mean?
And another example. Which of these activities would you prefer to do outside? If I had to choose, I would say cycling, because it's great exercise and it makes my legs look really firm and hard and I'm so sexy. And Bruce?
If I had to choose, I would say walking, because I don't know how to ride a bike. Is that embarrassing? I don't know.
And with that, we are finished. Now you can answer these simple, basic questions in the Cambridge B2 First Speaking Exam without using the present simple. Remember, the present simple is your enemy. We hate the present simple. Yes? Yes. If you liked the video, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, leave a comment down below. My name is Toby and this was Smash English.